here in Paso today. You're not too happy with 102 degrees for a high temperature today. Check this out. Look at how these clouds just look like they are funneling right up into the central coast today. The fuels, they're normally this dry towards the end of summer. We're at the first of summer, so that just gives you an idea of how dry it is out there. It looked like we saw rain showers across the radar, but unfortunately we did not get any measurable precipitation, just trace amounts, and that is because we got virga rain, which means we had dry and warm air in the lower levels of the atmosphere, and when the rain started to come down, it just evaporated before it actually could get to the ground. We're starting to see some scattered showers for both counties. We've only seen measurable precipitation for today in the Santa Barbara area. This is what is bringing us some low clouds and fog and a little bit cooler weather, but it is not going to last long as high pressure moves into our area and it starts building in Tuesday and Wednesday. We saw some isolated thunderstorms moving through this afternoon, some pretty intense ones as well. We were hearing over an inch possibly in those higher elevations. We're still seeing some light winds and they are continuing. Now yesterday they were switching, they're moving back and forth, so that's what made it very difficult. Today, luckily, they only shifted one time. For the month of July, a record of 0.46 inches was set back in 1950. We crushed that record today in just one day. The rain potential over an inch for Goleta, and this is between all 3 days, half an inch for San Luis Obispo, so some pretty good rain totals for a July storm. Welcome back. Well, the talk of the town this evening was the double rainbow we saw on the Central Coast in both San Luis Obispo County and Santa Barbara County in some areas. This is from Maryland, Santa Margarita. She said this was taken by Las Politas, where the Park Hill fire was last week. So an actual beautiful sight this evening for them. Paso Robles, Corey, thank you for capturing this. How amazing is that? A flag centered right in the middle of that rainbow. So many pictures to choose from this evening. I could only pick a few. Melissa Fields, the actual sunset was beautiful as well. This taken in Santa Maria. Now, another sunset picture there from this evening in Morro Bay, where Larry Bolgen sent that in. They hit a high today of 63 degrees. California Valley not seeing much relief from the heat, 97 still though. Paso Robles did get a little bit of relief, nearly 10 degrees cooler than yesterday, 87 degrees, 78 for San Luis Obispo, 76 for Santa Maria. Now we did see some showers, I would have to say raindrops that came through the area. We do have some monsoonal moisture. That's what's producing all of those rainbows. Not seeing a lot of precipitation hit the ground, but some areas we're seeing in Nipomo and Atascadero, they said they did get a few raindrops. So any precipitation is good here on the Central Coast, even if it is a few raindrops and if it produces amazingly beautiful rainbows. Now, we will continue to see a slight chance for those showers, mostly for the southern areas and higher elevations. That's going to be overnight, only about a 20% chance. Clouds and fog still going to remain overnight into the morning hours. We're going to see mostly cloudy days, but they will continue to see pretty sunsets maybe for the next few days. Hot and muggy conditions coming next week for the inland areas. We're going to see those temperatures hitting triple digits, but this time we're going to have a lot of moisture in the air. So it is going to be very hot and very muggy. That is because of the high pressure system backed with some monsoonal moisture. Low pressure, quite a bit out there, not making any effects here for the Central Coast. So we're just going to have to deal with that heat for those inland areas pretty much throughout the week. We might see a little bit of cooling towards the end of next week. Still seeing that little slight chance for some showers. Again, it will just be a few raindrops here and there. Not a lot of precipitation, definitely not measurable. And that's going to continue through Sunday. It's going to be very humid out there, so prepare for that. Current temperatures, we've got 50s and 60s across the board. 69 for Paso Robles, 61 for San Luis Obispo. Still seeing a light wind in San Luis Obispo, 10 miles per hour. Looks like calm for most areas. 6 for Paso Robles, 8 for Vandenberg. Now for tomorrow, we're going to be in the 90s for Paso Robles, 91 degrees. 77 for San Luis Obispo, 72 for Santa Maria. 68 for Lompoc and 76 for Santa Barbara. Heading into that south coast, we've got temperatures from the 60s all the way up into the 90s for the Cuyama Valley. Now look at the overnight lows for those interiors. They're in the 60s. So very warm overnight lows. 90s for Shandon and California Valley, 60s and 70s for the 5 cities area. North Coast seeing mostly mid 60s, 90 for San Miguel, 81 for Atascadero. 5-day forecast, you can see those triple digits really starting to come into play Monday, and they're sticking around for possibly a few days. San Luis Obispo will see upper 70s in the 80s. Lots of clouds in sight for San Luis Obispo. For Santa Maria, they will see mid 70s, mostly cloudy skies for them as well. In the south coast, similar situation with mostly cloudy to partly cloudy skies. Temperatures in the mid 70s. If you're in Paso today, you're not too happy with 102 degrees for a high temperature today. Pozo also in the triple digit area, 101. Much cooler in San Luis Obispo with 79 degrees. We saw a high of 78 for Santa Maria, 65 for Morro Bay, which is where you are looking live. That is where you would have to escape the heat today if you live in those interiors. Thank you to our weather watchers for sending us those numbers today. Now, a lot of activity hitting the Los Angeles area once again. Some scattered thunderstorms making the way through the area, and that started to move up into our area as well, especially in Santa Barbara County. We saw some isolated thunderstorms moving through this afternoon, some pretty intense ones as well. We were hearing over an inch possibly in those higher elevations for some precipitation. So that's good news for them, but we unfortunately did not get much here in San Luis Obispo County, and it doesn't look too promising right now in the forecast. Now, we do have an advisory in place for Santa Barbara County right now. It is for a flash flood watch, and that's going to be until this evening, 8 o'clock. Heavy rainfall possible. This is going to be for the Cuyama Valley, also for the Santa Barbara County mountains. Now, that is going to see rainfall rates of 1 to 2 inches possible per hour. So some pretty intense storms possible. But again, it's looking like it's backing off quite a bit than it has from yesterday. Now, some pictures emerging on social media. This is in Los Angeles taken. You can see the lightning coming down. And I have heard reports that we've seen some lightning here on the Central Coast. It's just not been as active. Now, a lot of clouds rolling in. Thank you, Elsie, for sending this in from Templeton. If you want to send your pictures, you can do so anytime on our social media at ksby.com, both on Facebook and Twitter. Now, it's muggy out there. You can see this high pressure system mixed in with some monsoonal moisture activity, and that's what's bringing those temperatures up with the high pressure, the monsoonal bringing the humidity. So a little bit unfortunate for those interiors seeing triple digits plus high humidity. So we do have some changes on the way, fortunately, for those interiors. Now you can see we still continue that chance for some scattered thunderstorms towards this afternoon into this evening. It's going to continue overnight into the morning hours, but it isn't looking like it's going to be bringing much precipitation. We do see a few slight chances for San Luis Obispo, but it is mostly staying towards Santa Barbara County for the most part. Now, as far as the precipitation totals, it has backed off quite a bit from yesterday. Now we are going to see just trace amounts for the most part, possibly a little bit more for San Luis Obispo. So any precipitation is good though. Again, that air is going to be muggy, and that is going to continue for the next few days. And we will see Friday the wind will change and it'll go onshore, and that's going to start to bring those temperatures down. You can really see Friday afternoon bringing some changes for those temperatures, bringing us down a little bit cooler. Wind speeds right now, we've got 17 miles for Paso Robles. It's a little windy out there. 16 for San Luis Obispo. A light wind for Vandenberg. Current temperatures, 80s still for Paso Robles. Very warm out there. Now for the fair tomorrow, we're going to see temperatures in the 90s. So it's going to be a little bit cooler than we saw today, so 102. So it's going to be a nice day at the fair tomorrow. A little bit humid though for the most part. Temperatures for tomorrow, 90s, 80s, we've got some 70s in there for Lompoc. Heading into that south coast, we'll see temperatures in mostly the 70s and 80s, still 93 for Cuyama though. Heading into the 5 cities area, we've got 70s, 95 for Shandon and California Valley. North coast, seeing temperatures in the 70s, so pretty warm there, 93 for San Miguel. 5-day forecast, 90s across the board for Paso Robles, 80s for San Luis Obispo. Santa Maria will see 80s dropping down into the 70s, and for Santa Barbara, they will be seeing 80s pretty much the whole week.